Good evening, everybody. We've made it to Friday. I'm going to change Charlie. I definitely went through a process, though, of which baby to change. I think she's the last one I changed, but we might change Sparrow, too. She looks real we might just take her out and look at her, because she looks very cozy. She's been in the outfit that she's in for 2 weeks, but almost, but I still like her in it. So I am going to say some things on this video. I'll just let you know. It'll still be the same. I would venture to say fair and even-toned person. I average about 2 thumbs down on a video, so maybe people have gotten bored, I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see, but I have some opinions to share, and I have some confirmations of some likes, I guess is the best way to put it. And I don't have a script or notes. I thought about making some notes to make sure that the points that I wanted to cover got covered, but they're not. So it's not gonna be a nasty video or anything, but I definitely have some things to say. But I think I'm gonna change her a little bit first, or mostly change her first, because I think I'll have a better time concentrating. Can you see the pink is rubbing off the mouse's nose? Bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna let the dogs in. Alrighty, we're back. So Charlie's been in this is the last video I made, I think, was changing her into this outfit. Born in 2018. I'm gonna put her in loads of yellow. Actually, let me grab the hairspray now. Ouch. Okay. Y'all, preface this, I guess, my progression on what I wanted to say today started, I don't know, maybe 36 hours ago. If I were to guess without doing a bunch of math. And it's definitely moved in a more positive direction than where I started out. I obviously struggle a little bit, and struggle is a convenient word, albeit a slightly exaggerated word, because struggle just seems like a strong word, but I definitely go back and forth on my interest level in making videos. I love making videos on one hand, and then I'm totally indifferent on another hand. On the other hand, I love the dolls. I feel like the platform of changing them and talking about them, it brings a level of participation with the dolls that I don't know if it would be there without the videos, because I have been making videos with the dolls since my first reborn came home. Not as many, but I'm feeling her because I varnished her lightly, so I'm just checking in, and I don't know how to describe how it feels. It doesn't feel damp. That would totally not be right word. It's not damp. She just feels different, and I guess I'm used to her being the way that she was. But I am just checking in on it periodically to see how everything is holding up, and so far so good. No peeling, no chalkiness, nothing like that, no discoloration. So I think so far it's going well. So I'm going to put her into this Gerber body. I guess you can call it a onesie since it's Gerber. It's a Gerber onesie. Thinking if I want to keep the sleeveless onesie on. I think I'll take it off. The neck hole is not terribly large. Sometimes I'll keep a little onesie on underneath it just to disguise the neckline where the body hits. But go ahead and take this off of her. A lot of people said that they had a feeling that I would end up bringing Charlie back into my collection. And I kind of had a feeling too. I definitely had a feeling that I wanted to. I didn't know if I would have the guts to ask or the funds to do it. And I thought I would have to wait a really long time, but I ended up being able to do it quicker than I thought. And Charlie's a perfect example of you love what you love. I know I've talked about that before. She's just a favorite for whatever reason. I knew at the moment I saw her, and it's the personality of it's the personality that the artist created when she made this doll, and the way that I perceived that. She's just very different from any other doll that I have had. I love this onesie. The sleeves are a little longer than they usually are on short sleeve onesies. This is definitely like well, I don't know if it's vintage. I assume it's vintage. I think it is. The tag seems very old fashioned. But I don't know. Sometimes things just look that way. Oh yeah, it's so cute on her. So my plan was to also put this sweatshirt on her that says see good in all things. It's definitely like going to be a baggy slouchy, but I think for now I'll just leave her in this because she looks really cute. And we'll just chat for a little bit and then see where we go. Some yellow socks, and I also have her little best friend Ducky over here. And her pacifier. This is the one she came home with from her artist. Here's her Ducky. And what did I do with the spray? See if I can start gathering my thoughts and remember what the heck I wanted to make sure I covered in this video. I think initially I felt like this would be my last video because of a scene of a movie that I won't actually mention on here because it has profanity. But I would say I was ready to peace out. Just because, like, of the... Well, I want to say the ridiculousness, but it's not even just because of the ridiculousness of certain situations that go on around here. It's also about the nastiness of some people. I remember being on Facebook one time at a friend's house, and I sat down, it was up, so I was scrolling through it, and I'm thinking, man, this is really, like, what happened? It's just so negative today. And then I realized that it's because somebody else was logged into their account on that computer, and Facebook was an entirely different experience than my Facebook was. And it all had to do with the people that I was connected to, and therefore whose posts I would see, and the theme. And like my friends were all very much into love and positivity and creating their reality and manifesting the future and magic and all of that stuff. And then like the Facebook that I ended up looking at was like hate and guns and dirty, I don't know, chauvinistic, I don't know, cynical, I guess. Anyway, so I realized, like, you know, at that point I kind of took a step back and went, wow, you know, the circle of friends that I keep and my focus in life has really changed. And, you know, it took sticking my head out of that bubble I was living in to realize that not everybody shares that same perspective. And I decided I really liked the outlook and the kindness of the people that I surrounded myself with. So, anyway, that's not really here nor there. I'll say a couple things up front. I'll save some people some time. One, I don't make my channel because I have a theme or an image to present, or filter my content somehow to maintain said image or theme. I am thoughtful in considering what I choose to talk about, what I choose to lend my energy to, what I choose to feed, what sometimes I'll have something that's just burning up to talk about, and then I wait, and then the next day I just don't care anymore. So I don't. But with that being said, I have had at least a comment or two in the past about how I ought to just stick to my deep psychological conversations about the dolls. That's where I shine and that's what I'm about. I appreciate the recognition for the fact that I will really like postulate on different perspectives and you know, psychology with dolls or with life. It's just the way that I am. It's not the only way that I am, but it's definitely just happens and comes out, and that's the stuff that I think about. But I choose not to be pigeonholed into what you might assume my theme is or my thing is, because my thing and my channel is just me and what I feel like sharing or what I feel like doing that day. So we'll get that out of the way. Also, I have had comments that maybe I don't seem very empathetic. I seem passive aggressive. And that was on a tongue-in-cheek video that I made a while back because I was just really poking fun at the ridiculousness of certain comments to me that were edged to, you know, paint a certain picture. But actually, if you thought about what was being said, it was ridiculous. And I had to poke fun at it. So maybe that's passive aggressive. That's... okay, that's okay. However, I do want to make sure that I share the distinction with you that being empathetic in its true definition and being sympathetic are two different things. So you can be empathetic to the way somebody's feeling in a positive or a negative way, or you can pick up or take on the emotions or feelings or the energies of the people around you, regardless of whether you agree with them or regardless of whether they are quote unquote positive. You know, empathy or a true empathic nature is not the same as being sympathetic to somebody's woes. So I just want to clear that up too as we go into this. Thirdly, I'll mention that I don't in my opinion, throw shade. I shed light. So when I choose to come on and talk about something, I'm shedding light on something. Maybe, I'm not the light bringer. I'm not bringing to light, some magical topic that nobody gets. But maybe I'm shedding light on my opinion, or I'm sharing my perspective on something. If I wanted to throw shade at somebody specifically, I would do that. If I choose to just talk about a topic, or maybe make a point, but in a way that's not being aggressive or unnecessarily targeting somebody, then I'll choose to do it that way. But I'm not throwing shade. I am shedding light on my opinion on things. So that is that. And I've just chosen that I don't care if this becomes a target video or puts me on the radar. I've been on the radar before. That's okay. I don't have a goal of a fan base or even a necessarily solidified future of the channel. But sometimes I feel like I want to speak my mind, and so I'll do that. And so when I don't speak my mind, it's because I choose not to, not because I am concerned about backlash or anything like that. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday morning, I saw a video go up by Tasha at Pixie Mommy's Reborns. I was a little apprehensive to watch it, but I actually am glad that I did, and I really agreed with what she had to say, and I appreciated her genuine passion and emotion on the subject. I want to say that I have known Tasha. I started talking with Tasha after the very first video that she ever posted on YouTube. And I'd been on just a little bit before her, and we've chatted ever since. We've had varying degrees of closeness. It ebbs and it flows as any friendship would in terms of how much time we spend talking or have to talk. But definitely was really, I would say, my first consistent friend in the community. I don't always agree 100% with what Tasha says, but I don't really even agree 100% with what my partner says, or my boss says, or my child says, or my mom says. So that's fine with me. I personally, through my experience, don't see any more mistakes than anybody else made, and don't even sit back and judge mistakes for my friends. But I definitely feel that I know where Tasha's heart is and her character, and I appreciate her. Whether or not we share the same perspective on everything, we definitely don't, but that's fine. This particular video, I agreed with her. The topic of the video talked about a couple of people who were picking on another collector based on this long-term battle that's been going on. Of late, it hasn't been a battle. It's really just been a one-sided heave-ho of mud from, the quote-unquote other side. The fact that there are sides is a little bit of a misnomer, because I don't think that there's like an organized group on at least quote-unquote this side, although there's a group of people that have been lumped together in that. Anyway, the situation, if you were around for the situation with the chargeback and all of that stuff, there are some people who came into that situation after the fact. That there are a lot of people actually that came into that situation after the fact and heard a one-sided account that was really full of mistruths and misrepresentations. Mistruths and misrepresentations that have actually been shown to be untrue or lies, flat out lies. Me and other people too. But I think that there's a group of people that find it convenient to stay allied because it's joined together over a common hatred of another person. So it's become very convenient to overlook things that were, I mean, not just mistakes, but flat out lies that were then covered up after the fact, and everybody saw it. So the video that Tasha made was around some comments made coming out of that camp that put down the doll of a collector that they hate, making derogatory comments about the skin tone of the doll. And they're relevant because the center point person of that group made direct and multiple derogatory comments, innuendos, and attacks towards this collector that had to do with her legal status, her skin tone, the way she looks, basically her nationality or her color. So the commenting on the doll definitely mirrored the commenting that had been directed that was completely out of line and really, really showed the character. So I want to share too my opinion on that whole situation. Whether or not you would have handled things the way that you did had you been the seller of a doll, the fact of the matter is communication happened and failed, and the information that was shared publicly was shared as facts and documentation with very little emotion. Up to and after things got threatening and nasty and personal, there was a lot of care taken to not be slanderous, to do things by the book. And even yet, and even still, a lot of shade has been thrown at this person, and flat out that's because they don't like her. And but I will tell you this, in my opinion, the person at the center point of the quote-unquote other side is not a victim, was not targeted, was not slandered, did not have her personal details leaked online, because I actually still have comments from her under her account that was in her legal name publicly for a very long time. None of that happened, and that will bring me forward. The collector that I'm talking about that has the doll that was made fun of is the Reborn Doll Collective, and that's Inez, and I also enjoy her. I started talking with Inez fairly early on, definitely started watching her fairly early on. We haven't had a ton of deep friendship talk behind the scenes, but occasionally we do. I enjoy her, I like her, and I'll tell you that in my experience, what you see is what you get, and everything that I've ever talked with her about privately, I have never been pushed or tried to be made into a minion or influenced or seen a different side of her. I think that she is genuinely who she is, and I like her. I have friends, by the way, online friends, that don't like each other, that are on their own little separate sides of their own little separate camps, that have had their own little feuds in the past. And just like when I was in high school, I'm friends with who I'm friends with. I trust my own judgment of character and my own ability to choose and prioritize what I think really shows the qualities of a person that for me are, make or break, that kind of thing. I may be kind and I may be selective on what I choose to talk about or how diplomatic I am, but I am not a fool. And I am not a young spring chicken that hasn't had plenty of life experiences. So I'm fully capable of forming my own opinions, taking my own actions, and choosing my own associations. And P.S., nobody in any of these camps that don't like each other all of whom I talk to have ever told me not to talk to the other person. And that just wouldn't work for me. So I started watching Inez early on. I also started watching Katie of My Little World, who I also really enjoy. And Katie is also close by me, so we've had a chance to see each other in person at a few meetups, and I adore her too. And I feel that she is also somebody who is who she is. She's very kind. She wants people to get along, and she has had some shade thrown at her over the years too that I have seen, and I have never seen her make a nasty video. Maybe a clarifying video, or maybe a video, an opinion video. And if you think that you don't sit there and have an opinion on a matter or get worked up over something from time to time, even if you're nice and you wouldn't normally feel that way or react so strongly or have the feelings or the words that you have, you're deceiving yourself. I'm just saying. Everybody gets worked up about stuff. A very close friend of mine in the community is Ashley at Baby Love Heart Smith. Ashley doesn't really seem to have a lot of enemies, but I can't go without mentioning Ashley because she's probably my closest friend in the community at this point. So, sending the love. I enjoy Shannon at Loves Me Some Reborn Babies too. She's not making videos anymore, but I really appreciate June at, I think it's I Love Life June is the latest channel name. Oh goodness, I shouldn't go down the list of people that I'm watching. There's a few people that I watch that aren't involved in anything that I may not mention, and so sorry, I'm not leaving anybody out. Another person that I really enjoy in the community is Kelly Girl. Disclaimer, I don't feel that I'm mentioning a celebrity or somehow ranking myself to celebrity status by mentioning Kelly. I have found her, I was hesitant in the beginning because there's another collector, another content creator in the community that really has very bad feelings toward her, and had really shared some opinions that made me cautious. But in my experience, direct and personal experience, kind, sweet, accepting, completely non-judgmental, very excited to enjoy and share in the appreciation of anybody's doll, regardless of whether it's an expensive silicone doll or an inexpensive vinyl doll. Supportive, likes fashion, concerned about other people's feelings and how she may affect other people's feelings, and just a lovely human being for sure. So that's where I am, and that's what I wanted to say about the people that I communicate with in the community. I find it frustrating that there are constant accusations and rallying to turn people against the people, some of the people that I've mentioned just now, for being elitists, for being snobs, for putting people down, for bullying people, for making people feel left out, when I've watched a ton of their videos and none of them have badmouthed other people's dolls, have made fun of people who have inexpensive reborns, who have teased people or made fun of people who buy thrift shop clothes or Carter's brand or dollar store brand clothes. In fact, I pretty much don't, unless they're saying, I love seeing people who love their dolls regardless of what their doll is. I never see them talk about anybody else's dolls or clothing unless it's in a congratulatory moment. The only people that I see talking about that are the people who are accusing this quote-unquote side of doing that by making fun of either the dolls that people that they don't like have purchased, or knocking the quality of the work of the artists that they appreciate, or talking down about their character because of the clothing that they choose to invest in, as though they've ever said that anybody who doesn't spend that kind of money is less than, or made fun of anybody. And I'm going to tell you something. I live a pretty healthy lifestyle when it comes to food, and one thing that I noticed in that transition is that you and your actions and your choices are a direct reflection as a mirror to other people. And so what you choose to do, if it conflicts if it conflicts with what somebody else is doing, or if it strikes a nerve on somebody else's insecurity, it can be perceived by the person who has those emotions to be an attack or an accusation or a finger pointing or a comparison on your part, when it's not. For example, if I were to go out to, let's say, we'll just say a restaurant, because I don't want to pick one particular kind of food, but where the food's very rich, there's lots of oils and butters and cheeses and fatty goodness and all of that. And the people at the table, maybe on and off, have tried to eat healthier or whatever. This is not a one-to-one correlation, but the point that I'm demonstrating comes out of this. But they're ordering just really indulgent, delicious, but food that I won't order, and then I order, let's say, a salad with a steamed chicken, without the oil that they use, because of the various reasons that I choose to eat or not eat certain foods. I have experienced people who act insulted or defensive, and react as if they've been, and will defend themselves as if they've been accused of being unhealthy or eating something gross, when that's not even the thought. My choices have absolutely nothing to do with them. My choices are for me, and you're here to live your life and make your choice the way that you want to make it. It's totally fine. Like, I'm not better than somebody else because of the way I choose to eat. I don't think that anybody else is better than me because of the way that they do. Making my choices for me, but because maybe they feel that it's less than perfect thing to order, they assume that I'm judging them in my head when I'm not, and the thought hasn't even entered my mind. So is that where it's coming from? Like, are people assuming that people who spend more money on clothing, think less than people who maybe can't, or maybe just choose not to spend that kind of money on clothing? Like, that's an unfair thing to put on other people. I'm just saying. So it's a long way of saying that the people who are the only people I see throwing shade about other people's dolls and other people's choices in clothing are the people that are accusing other people of doing that. They're the ones that are doing that. And I'm pretty well over that. I don't really vibe with the constant rally to convince other people of the poor character and the secret motives and the secret evilness. There was another group that was on here a couple of years ago that did the same thing, that would target somebody that they didn't like, and then anybody who watched them. See, this isn't new, by the way. This isn't new. Other people before you have done this. By association, anybody who watched or commented or liked the person that they hated was actually apparently secretly, not a good person, and not who you think that they are. They're actually bad, and they're actually secretly minions of this other person. In fact, if you go back in my videos about a little over a year ago, you'll see a video that has something to do with minions, and there's another moment of me poking some harmless fun at that situation, which is a totally different group of people. It's about as far as my engagement went. But I was told, I heard that I was apparently a minion of somebody because because I watched their videos, and because apparently they had forced me to buy some outfit, and this person had proof, and I still have no idea what they're talking about. I've never been forced to do anything in this community. So anyway, you can pretty well get people's character and motives and the tone of who they are through your own experience in watching them. But if you sit there and pick apart somebody's every word, and you're doing it from the perspective, if you don't like somebody and you think they're some kind of way, that's like a filter. That's like putting on sunglasses of a certain shade. Everything you see is going to be shaded that color, because that's the filter, the lens through which you're seeing things. So sure, if you pose a presupposition, or if you pose a theory, or let's say an assumption or an assertion that someone is a certain way, and then you go and you pick apart every word they say, and you say, see, that's it, that's what I'm talking about. You can absolutely make things look that way, and for somebody who trusts your word and judgment, they might be like, wow, you're so right. But that doesn't mean that you are right. That just means that that's your perspective. You may see things or read into things or assume things that are incorrect just because of your judgments of that person, if that makes sense, and hear things that nobody else actually hears. It's not fair. But anyway, I see a group of people bullying their way through, cutting down people for example, I'm being passive aggressive if I do a survey that brings up some of the ridiculous points that have been made without calling anybody names or anything like that. And that's actually a topic of conversation and something that gets criticized by the people who are supporting people who are calling people names, accusing them, mocking their videos, constantly nasty insults, rallying, convincing people not to like them. All of that very blatant aggressive stuff is somehow okay, but then there's all this subtle undertone. This is not an undertone. This is my opinion. This is me being completely over the nonsense of crap that's going on a freaking free online platform for videos of people in their houses, talking. The unnecessary absurdity of it is just blows my mind sometimes. And yes, Tasha made a video, and yes, Kelly made a video later that day, and yes, I'm making a video. I've been wanting to make a video since yesterday morning when I was at work, and I have been nonstop with work. But now I'm making a video, and yes, I'm not the first one, and yes, we're talking about the same topic, so we'll just address that too, because I know that's another point of criticism. Do want to share that part of the interaction of the online community, since we're not actually talking on the phone to each other, we communicate through the videos that we make. So if we have a discussion piece and we're sharing our perspective, if we were out to dinner or something like that, we would all go around the table and interact and talk. Here, we express our opinions on a large scale through making a video, and then we can respond to each other in the comments. So that's the way that topic videos work. So sometimes you will see a topic talked about a couple of different times, but I don't really care if the topic's been talked about, because this is my opinion on the way things are going. I just wanted to put it out there in case there is any confusion about the people that I enjoy and the people that I don't have any confusion about who they are, and the fact that if I had concerns about the how truly they put themselves forward to me, that maybe that they were deceptive or manipulative or controlling me or anything like that, wouldn't actually be under my list of associates, if you get what I'm saying. So this is your opportunity. If you want to not like me because now you know for sure that I actually like those people, even though some of those people don't like each other, this is your opportunity to know, in fairness, I've put it out there, you can proceed however you wish, whether it be making up a different opinion of me based on now who I actually, like. Feel free to do that if you don't want to watch me anymore. If you want to watch me in thumbs down, if you want to talk about me, if you want to do anything, I have no secrets here. That is pretty well what I have to say. I'm not going to say I don't want to be making this video, because I only make videos that I want to make, and I absolutely wanted to make this video. So my next planned video is going to be a box opening, which is probably going to be at the end of the month or the beginning of November. Here, I'm going to bring Sparrow down so that you can see her really quick too, because you've been looking at Charlie for a long time. Put Charlie back over here and bring Sparrow down for just a minute. She's wearing this Patty Inc. outfit. She looks so cute in the blue and white. She's so cozy in it too. Come here, girlie. You're not in the frame. She's bigger. So I hope that clears up any confusion for anybody. I feel good about speaking my mind on the matter. I'm looking forward. Unfortunately, it's weird. Unfortunately, I am looking forward to the changes with YouTube, because I feel like it'll be a really great thing. Perhaps. I mean, it's sad. It'll be a great thing that certain commenting won't go on, but it's sad to say that, because there's so much great interaction that happens in the comments, but the crappy comments and stuff like that actually makes it just not even worth it sometimes, in my mind. Sometimes depends on the day. We should take a little note from that. See good in all things. I do see good in all things. The funny thing is that some of the channel creators that I really don't agree with their tactics and their methods, I actually think are kind of interesting people and smart people, and under different circumstances would probably even follow. And I know that nobody is, cut and dry one certain way. I know that even if you have worlds of ugliness on a certain topic because you really are emotional about it and you can't temper that, or choose not to temper that, or don't even see a need to temper that, there, you may have 99 other things that you're completely lovely on. I that doesn't escape me. So really, I'm commenting on behavior and motivation for the most part. Choices. I can't say for certainty that there isn't poor character involved somewhere in all of it. But I wouldn't assume until I knew more, personally. So I'm talking about actions, behavior, choices, chosen ways to be that I do not vibe with. But I also see good things that come out of it. I have had terrible things happen in my life and seen things happen around me, and I always see things that come out of it that are good. I try to remain impartial in my mind about judging a situation for the long term, even if I react to it in the short term, because even in the most difficult challenges, at the very least, people come out stronger, or with a more eyes open, or with a softer heart, or there's any number of benefits that come out of it. So in that respect, I do operate in the gray a little bit more. I do have the ability to like people that some people are cut and dry don't like, because I'm a little less black and white on I'll just say life in general. However, I do get irritated. So this is me irritated. I also am not going to say that I'm impartial on every scenario and situation, because that's absolutely not true. Just because I don't voice it doesn't mean I'm impartial. I'm absolutely partial. I'm partial to what I see as just, fair, people expressing. I'm partial towards not being abusive. I'm partial towards not taking things too far. I mean, I don't know if I should list the things I'm partial to, because that's trying to create a generalized statement for a specific scenario. But I'm not impartial on everything that's been going down. And I'm especially partial to myself, my judgments, my character, my choices, and my life. So, and I'm partial to all of the positive people that are kind, and I've had people that come to my channel and leave comments about things that they don't like or things they disagree with me on, and as long as we have as long as it's not some nasty judgmental comment about how I should be or how I shouldn't be, or putting down other people or fighting with other people, I will answer questions. I will appreciate their perspective. I will share my perspective. I will try to understand their way. So I appreciate, honest, respectful, kind people, all of the really beautiful, amazing support that I've gotten over the years here, the last couple of years. I'm partial to that. I'm partial to being honestly me, and this is genuinely where I'm at. Sparrow sending out her love. Thank you for sticking with me if you did, and we'll be seeing you around pretty soon. Much love. Bye for now.